Welcome to Real Estate Leadership. I'm Travis Hitt. This is Turner Cavender.
Turner.
Go. He can speak. Go ahead.
Turner Cavender.
Today we're going to talk about the fear of missing out, FOMO, due to outside sources.
Let's get it. Welcome to the show. We are here and we're going to talk about fear of... Charlie's in the... you can't see him, but maybe. Fear of missing out due to outside sources. And we're going to talk about, actually, fear of missing out in real estate. Travis, take it away, man.
Yeah, hey, first off, I just noticed we're matching.
We always kind of match.
In this one, in the last podcast, we both had gray on. So
oh, really?
We're on the same page, I guess.
Maybe you caught on.
Maybe you didn't, but you
put
did
it in the
now.
Comments.
Yeah, so fear of missing out, FOMO, due to outside sources when it comes to real estate. And this can be, we always like to talk to a general viewer. So we're here to talk to real estate agents, but we're also here to talk to consumers, normal folks, and anybody doing any type of business or any type of industry. So, but we're going to get kind of specific with real estate today. So when it comes to fear of missing out with real estate due to outside sources, there's so many factors that can play into. First one I can think about right now because of our current market is a lot of people have pushed the pause button on buying homes because of everything that's in the media. And a lot of times we're not going to tell you what to do. Your money is your money. Your life is your life. But most of the time when people miss out on something, that's why it's called missing out. It's because you didn't take action and you missed something. So a lot of people are listening to the media right now and outside sources, and they're hitting the pause button on buying when if they, in reality, would listen to people that are really smart in economics, really smart in the real estate industry, they may be able to make a better educated decision overall rather than just listening to the overall media and saying, oh, well, that's the information I'm getting, so I'm not going to buy.
Yeah, so to add on that, like, you know, you could hear it from, people could hear it from the media, and then it could go through the word of mouth, and it could be changed, you know.
You ever played telephone?
Yeah, so same thing. So if you have a topic or an interest, a point that you really would like to be educated on, one, just contact me and Travis.
Yeah.
We'll help you out. We won't say that we know everything, but we'll get the correct, true answer with the correct data to show you the real historic reasons and all that stuff behind it.
Yep.
Because there's a lot of people out there that can gossip, like the media, newspapers, and you know that game. What did you call it? What was that game? I don't know what you're talking about. What was the game called?
What game?
When you repeat the
telephone.
Telephone?
Yeah.
Telephone. Jesus, I need the hearing aids. I need to put my hearing aids on.
Yeah, it's true. You listen to outside factors, and sometimes it's like, well, I don't know what to believe, so I'm going to believe what I just heard.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that can cause you to make a mistake, and then you look back and wish you wouldn't have made that mistake. So one, when it comes to that, if you're thinking of doing something, whether it's buying a house or anything, don't just make a quick decision off of something you heard. Do your research. Yeah. Ask people that know what they're doing.
Let's give them an example. People like to relate to the topic we're listening to. So like the other stuff we talked about, like, you know, all those things, but we also gave them a scenario to see if they could relate to it.
Yeah, so I mean,
give them a scenario.
We've talked about this before, but it's a really important topic right now is people have stopped buying houses because of interest rates. So I put something out on Instagram yesterday because I just couldn't take it anymore, and I want people to know not just the truth, but think about a bigger picture.
Okay.
So I put out yesterday that I had a great conversation with a buyer yesterday because she understood the market, understood economics, and understood the real estate industry. And she was out searching for homes right now when she didn't want to search a year ago because of the way the market was. Everybody thinks the market has tanked, but if you look at it a different way, there's a lot of opportunity in the market right now for buyers. And what we talked about, the reason she was out buying right now is, one, she's getting a better price on homes because the market has shifted and it's come down to more realistic values.
Before they were over accessed and $100,000 over.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to tie your attention in here.
I love it. So she's out shopping now because, one, she's getting a discounted price on homes. She understands the interest rates are higher, but she also understands that you can refinance out of an interest rate.
Exactly.
So it makes more sense to get a house for a lot cheaper of a price, maybe pay a little bit more a month, but she doesn't care because she knows she's going to refinance out in 6 to 12 months. And what we talked about as well is yeah, a year ago, interest rates were 2.99 to 3.2, but you had to pay an excessive price for that home. Most people had to bring a lot of extra cash to closing, and that's only if you were able to secure a contract.
Yeah.
And when I was listing homes, we just put it on the market, and I'd have 30 offers, and that's not a joke. Sometimes, I remember my biggest one, I think I had 64 offers on a home.
Jeez,
one person won, and they had to bring well over $100,000 to closing in cash. So she's being smart right now and buying that same type of property for far less, interest rates higher. She's going to refinance out, but she saves money on taxes. She saves money on the purchase price. She's not having to shell out a bunch of cash. And she knows right now with where the market is, a lot of sellers are giving buyers closing costs money.
Closing costs, concessions, credits, all kinds of things. So, like, if you take that one buyer that was in, I guess we'll just say 2020, they bought over $100,000 versus your buyer right now, right? This one is going to be having financially smarter because, one, all that extra cash and funds you have is gone, and it takes forever for you to make that back. You have all that cash on hand to do whatever you'd like to update your home, buy furniture, buy a refrigerator.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Yeah, and you pay higher rates, but just like we said before, you marry the home, date the interest rate. You'll be able to refinance. If you're smart, okay, you need to stay on top of your finances when it comes to that. You got to refinance because it can be more expensive. But those are the options you have if you're smart about your finances when it comes to getting the wrong information from the wrong source.
She's not listening to the media. She's looking at economics. And if she's buying a house at a discounted rate, do you think the real estate market's going to stay where it's at right now forever? No. Look at the economy and look at the history of the economy. It never has done that.
No.
We're in a lower recession time point right now when it comes to the real estate market. When that bounces back, who's going to be in a better position? Her that buys a house at the price now and refinances, gets a lower interest rate, or the person that paid an excess price plus paid a lot of money at closing in cash, who's going to be in a better position? This lady is, because she got the discounted price. When the market comes back up, they're going to be here. This person that paid an excess amount in a high real estate market, it's going to take them a lot longer to be able to sell that home and be in a great financial position.
I mean, Siri on my watch is getting worked up about this conversation.
Got a third party
economics,
here.
what?
So I get fired up about this, but you can't just listen to outside sources to make your decisions.
Yes.
And a lot of people have that FOMO, that fear of missing out whenever they do that. And not just when it comes to buying and interest rates. Realtors that are listening to this, I went through it 11 years now in. For the first few years, we were talking about this before we came on. Years ago, I may not have taken a meeting because I didn't feel like I should be in that room. Well, I wouldn't get invited to a meeting if somebody else didn't think I should be in that room. But I allowed myself to miss out because of my limiting beliefs. And I would listen to other people or my own brain, and it would keep me from getting good opportunities.
Yeah.
So you can miss out on so many things by listening to other people rather than seizing an opportunity.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you really want to seize an opportunity, just cut your limiting factors out. This is the leadership part of this podcast, right? We go from leadership to real estate. I know we talked about this before we hit the record button on this podcast, is that, I had some very prestigious clients that I trained at, are some of the largest CEOs in the world with the largest companies. And, when I was a trainer and owned gyms and stuff, I trained them. And if I had a limiting belief, I wouldn't be able to train those people and have the network that I have today. These two huge CEOs and make the amount of money I did. But we turned out to be the best buds, and I got to hear some of the coolest stories and learned so much from him business wise and personally with his family. And I learned from it. And, that right there could have been a fear of missing out because I was like, oh, well, I'm not smart enough to do the push-ups with the old man. Like it's the same situation, him having a listing appointment with somebody that's, huge hitter. But when your fear of missing out in real estate, you really need to do your research on the topic you're trying to figure out, whether it's getting more information on interest rates or get more information on, how much equity you could earn in a certain amount of time, or is the market, has it popped? People like to call it pop bubble, or is the market crashing? Every market's different. So make sure you do your research. And if you are listening right now and you have a question in that little noggin of yours, just go ahead and, message us.
Reach out.
We have so many ways of contacting us. If you can't figure it out, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do to help you out.
Don't say anything because it's going to be offensive. Keep that to yourself. But, speaking of real estate agents, there are so many ways that we can miss out by not our own advice, but by listening to other people. And, I can think of just so many in my brain right now, but a lot of it comes to seizing an opportunity with meetings. Being in a room that you feel like you shouldn't be in because of what somebody said 5 years ago. I remember the first time I went to a big round table dinner. I was finally starting to get semi-successful, and I just didn't feel like I needed to be there because of some past things in my life, how I grew up, the amount of money I made, things like that. But I told myself, shut up, go to this dinner.
Yeah.
And I ended up being able to relate to so many of the guys at this dinner that I needed to be in that room.
Yeah.
But if it would have been years before that, I would have just made an excuse of why I couldn't have gone, because I felt like the guys that were at the dinner were way more successful than me, were way smarter than me. But what I had to remember is I got the same invite that they did. So there's a reason that I got the invite to be at that dinner. But I didn't listen to everybody else and everything else that I thought I should think about to keep me from being in there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think you told me about this dinner too.
Yeah.
That's great. I've definitely had some situations like that. I know you probably have too out there that you're listening. This topic is really on today's episode is if you are in fear of missing out in real estate world, reach out to us. We can help you with those topics or information that you would need to make sure you get an education, right? Get an education on making the best decision in your life when it comes to real estate, because that's what we stand for. And when you think of real estate, think about real estate leadership.
And I got a question before he ends, if we have time.
Ooh.
As a newer agent, what's something that you can think of or that you've gone through with FOMO as a new agent?
Oh, man. I love it when you put me on the spot. It's my turn. Okay, look at you blossoming.
Hey, I'm trying.
Look at you, dude.
I'm growing.
High five. As a new agent, right? I'm just about to hit the two-year mark, actually. This month.
Not new.
Yeah, well, new, whatever. I think fear of missing out would be not networking enough, right? Thinking that real estate agents are just these corny salespeople.
Yeah.
Right? Which is a perception of reality that the majority of the masses think about real estate agents. But in reality, we are therapists. We are problem solvers. We are a lot. And that's what I kind of did with the fitness industry. And that's who I am as a person. I went to college and I went way over the top to get overqualified to help people like you, no matter what it was when it came to fitness, emotions, and it just poured over into real estate. And my biggest thing on fear of missing out was not going to networking events, thinking it was just going to be a waste of time, when really networking with another agent could open up opportunities, because that agent can't do this. He's not good at that. Or I could meet his friends and family where that person could live out here and I could help that. It's just a domino effect of things that happen, and a fear of missing out of opportunity because I had limiting beliefs in the beginning stage of my career being an agent.
And one thing I love about Turner is he's not very good at saying no. And that's a good thing, because a lot of people find a way to say no. I'll give you an example. I went out of town recently and I called Turner and I said, hey, I've got a client coming in town. They're ready to buy and I need you to help me and take them. And he's like, okay, what's the basics I need to know? And then you did a phenomenal job with figuring everything else out. And he was able to get the buyer under contract. The buyer's super happy, praising Turner. But a lot of the agents would have fear and they would allow that to screw them up in getting a successful deal, or hesitating to take a client from me or their team leader or somebody that they know, because they don't think they can do it, or they don't think they deserve it, or they don't think they have enough information, and they would drop the ball. So you've done a very good job as a newer agent, not missing out on opportunities and just tackling it.
I'm glad that we just extended the show a little bit more, because from that, the main thing that kept me from having anxiety or all this BS that we're talking about. It's not really BS, but basically all that stuff.
It's BS.
Is action. Okay, action eliminates anxiety.
True.
Action eliminates anxiety.
I like that.
Because it will just wipe it off. Because if you're doing, then you have the confidence in your brain and your heart that you put forth some effort to make sure that action or that goal was achieved. And by the time he got home, he was on the contract on Monday and he had no clue it happened.
Absolutely.
So action. Don't be afraid of missing out in life, whether it has to be a relationship and you want to ask that girl out or that guy out, or if you want to buy a home and you don't know what the hell you're doing, ask somebody, okay? Or if you're a new agent, go out there and be the person that people want to be around. Network with people, because your network is your net worth. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. When you think about real estate, think about real estate leadership. We'll see you next time.